Hey guys, it's Charlie. It's the 11th of January, Tuesday. Just finished the radio program. Doug Owen from Blacklisted News was the guest, and it was a fantastic show. Unfortunately, it centered around this massacre in Arizona and the obvious assault that's coming our way on free speech, free thought, anything that can be construed as incendiary speech could come under new legislation. And I just wanted to do a video not quoting statistics, not talking about House bills or anything like that, but just a video on common sense and to show, to talk to the point that there isn't any in the mainstream media and there isn't any in D.C. Taking everything at face value as the truth, which is hard to do in dealing with Washington or dealing with mainstream media. You know, we're led to believe by both of those groups that this maniac in Arizona went out and committed a massacre because of anger in the country generated by a few talking heads. And it just goes to show you how far removed the people in D.C. and the mainstream media is from real America. You know, I will never condone violence. You know, it's the coward's way out. This guy that did this, obviously deranged, obviously a lunatic. And whatever his motivations were, need to be studied psychologically, not to be reviewed to find out what we have to do to tamp down on the speech of the people in this country. That's ridiculous. There is anger in this country. Has nothing to do with what Rush Limbaugh says. Has nothing to do with Sarah Palin and her website targeting congressional districts. No language here is new. Both sides have done this forever. Both sides refer to the political battle as just that, a battle. You know, so to think that we can legislate away the speech that's going to lead to these types of events is to think that you can legislate away insanity, which in itself is a form of insanity. To think you can cure the ills of the mind by passing legislation, or to think that you can control a populace by saying you can't say certain words or think certain thoughts, again, is insanity. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to hear more rhetoric. We're going to see this event where a 9-year-old girl was gunned down, being used as a political tool in order to get legislation passed. To make what? To make a bunch of legislators feel good about themselves? To make it look like they're doing something for the American people? Yet none of them are going to address the issues which has led to an increase in hostility in this country, which I want to point out. You know, if you look at the path our country's been on over the last couple of years, if you look at the obvious looting of the wealth of this nation, if you look at the fact that the people who brought us here are happier and healthier than they've ever been in experiencing windfall bonuses and windfall profits on the backs of the American people who are suffering more now than they were in 2008, it's amazing to me, and I'm grateful for the fact that I live in a country where the people are still so civil that there isn't more outlash, there isn't more violent acts happening. That goes to show that the American people are the most tolerant people on the planet. And if you don't think so, look around the world. You have people in Greece freaking out and throwing Molotov cocktails. You have the same thing happen in England and in France. You have protests that turn violent. We don't see that in this country. We don't see that yet in this country. And to have these politicians and these mainstream media pundits come out and say that the answer to the problem is to curb free speech, to curb words that could be misguided and words that could be construed as incendiary, and that's suddenly going to fix a problem. It just goes to show you that Washington is insane, that the mainstream media is their lapdogs, and the only thing that's going to be truly destroyed is liberty in this country. When it comes to the point where when you're afraid to turn on a camera like this and come on and say something negative about your government, negative about anybody who's in the public sector, then it's a terrible day in this country. And, you know, the people who have died in pursuit of liberty in our nation's history, throughout our nation's history, would truly have died in vain if we think we can legislate away insanity, if we think we can legislate away free speech and that's going to somehow lead to a more perfect union. Now, I'm going to make it clear, this event in Arizona is absolutely disgusting, and it's heart-wrenching, especially anybody who has kids. I have a 10-year-old, and I can't even imagine the horror that these people, these parents are going through. And the people who died here at the hands of a lunatic need to be consoled and need to be in everybody's prayers. But the idea that this is going to be used as a political wedge and a political device to usurp your liberty is as disgusting as the event itself. That's all I got.